Hello everyone, it's me, Shadow Mystery Zero here, and welcome to the reaction videos. So it's Tuesday. Today we're gonna it's been 5 days since I stopped recording for a while. And so sorry, I'm eating pizza right now. But like I said, I know it's been 5 days since I stopped recording, so today I have found this video. So today we're gonna react to some of the watching about the games, because this is video titled "The Darkest FNAF Fan Games." The video is made by Plan Trades. This video is 31 minutes, so this is going to be like the other videos I reacted to years ago. And this is not. This video is going to be talking about the fan games of FNAF. So yeah. I know I'm eating some pizza. I'm trying to see if I will end up joining this Blue Food video. So, yeah, let's just enjoy it.
Thank you to Red Magic 9 for sponsoring this video. Together Again, A Lake's Funland Story is a relatively new FNAF fan game that I haven't seen covered much on YouTube yet. Despite being from a fairly new developer that I have not previously heard of, I checked out this fan game recently and was seriously surprised with what I experienced. Its own unique story which through the various games, challenging gameplay, and the overall charming aesthetic of the game, I could easily put this game in high A tier, maybe even S tier on my FNAF fan games tier list. So if you want to hear the dark story of Together Again, and see why this is one of my new favorite FNAF fan games, then sit back and join me on this FNAF fan game deep dive. As soon as we start the game, we see a brief intro cinematic, which foreshadows some events in the story that are yet to come. It's done in a cool art style.
Oh yeah, it's the FNAF game. This game is called Together Again. I think it's Together.
It has some really well done music to go along with it. After this, we load into our title screen and the game begins. The title screen right off the bat is extremely polished and just hints to how well made this game is going to be. After pressing New Game, we get our very first minigame style cutscene. This one takes place in 1968. We see Oscar, the owner of the company, who seems to be getting unfairly fired. He says on the phone, "This is great. I helped them grow this company and now they're firing me?" He continues to express his frustration, even saying, "I'm afraid not even God can help me this time," before suddenly the entire room turns black and a mysterious voice speaks to him.
But then again, yeah, eating a donut here. I already seen of the game, and mostly, have y'all know? Hey, y'all know this? There's also a VHS on this channel. If you don't, I'll just give you the link to the video. There are two videos only, so I was gonna put that in the link to show y'all.
After this, the voice reveals its face to Oscar. The entity then tells Oscar he can feel his desperation, and says he may need a huge favor in times of trouble. He then offers him a deal, saying he can provide him with success, fortune, power, influence, stability, and more. All for just kid and won't take his soul, saying that he'll just take something from him someday. Oscar angrily turns down this offer, opting to keep his son safe instead.
Wait a sec, I don't know how this identity just trying to kill children and take their souls.
The entity continues trying to convince him, repeatedly telling him that no one's going to get hurt, before taunting Oscar with the idea of him losing everything if he doesn't take it, saying, "You can leave right now without a job, running the risk of losing your family, spending the next months trying to get a job to make a living, or you can leave this building with a bright future ahead. Millions and millions of dollars could be waiting for you in the future." After this, the minigame ends on a cliffhanger with us not knowing Oscar's final decision on the deal. We then go to one last cutscene to introduce us to our protagonist before night one begins.
Greetings. This is Ashley J. Waters speaking, introducing you to my investigation thesis project for Mrs. Pillman's.
Yeah, this is Ashley because she's been investigating of this missing children, 3 missing children who they just killed.
For this special conclusive project, I've decided to put my dedication, my concentration, and all of my energy into one particular case. Could it be controversial? Yes. Delicate? Of course. Tragic? Unfortunately. But overall, this is one of the most intriguing cases that Montreal and the surrounding area has heard of in the last couple of years, with very little information available on it. On October 11th, 1990, Martin Calcott, Joshua Felwick, and Wendy Gribble disappeared at night under mysterious circumstances after they had left their homes without prior notice. The three of them, presumably at the same hour, headed to unknown whereabouts, never to be seen again. And despite this being a case with hardly any information on it, and with so much room for conjecture and rumors, I, Ashley Waters, compromised to do everything that is in my power to unveil the secret behind their disappearances, one way or the other. Over and out.
After that cool introduction of both our protagonist, Ashley Waters, and the case that she's planning to solve throughout the game, we spawn into our office for the very first time.
Alright, first night on the job.
While we get our first chance to watch the cameras and oversee the Lakes Funland location, we also receive a call from Ashley's mom.
Like, I seen this other player who being beating on every night shift and everything, so yeah, because I have learned a lot. I have been literally learned a lot yesterday. I've been watching people watch this guy, Keratin play this.
She gives us the initial rundown on all of the mechanics, explaining to
if you want to see it, go to his video though.
us how to use our cameras. We also learn about the vent cameras, which need to be lit up with a flashlight. However, we do have a power meter in this game, so we need to be using it sparingly. After this, Ashley's mom tells us that the machines, as she calls them, have been acting aggressively at night. Her theory on this is that the animatronics tried to search for intruders during the nighttime, so they had speakers installed around the location as well as the vents, which we can actually use the animatronics around if they ever try to get near our office. After this, she reminds us that she gave us 3 pills for our anxiety, and then tells us goodbye, reminding us that she will pick us up after our shift at 7 a.m. We are now set to survive the night, although because it's night 1, not much happens. Only one animatronic attacks us, that being Hayden Bonanza, who roams around and can be lured away from our office with the speaker system mentioned in the phone calls. Even though this is a very chill night and not much happens, we get a good chance to feel out just how good this game feels. Everything feels very polished and well crafted. The models for the animatronics as well as the building also look great, and are kind of reminiscent of that old Scott Cawthon style. The atmosphere is also really good. The ambient noises that play throughout the night are really creepy and keep the game feeling very tense. There's also these interactable items which we can click on to hear the character talk about them a little more. These little pieces of dialogue, as far as I know, don't go too deep into the lore, but they add a little bit more personality to our protagonist and also help build the world of this fan game a little bit more.
Huh. Mom talked about preferring to store trash like this instead of giving it maintenance. Oh well. Companies.
After we reach 7 a.m., we get this funny night complete screen and also get to hear Ashley's initial thoughts on her new job.
Great. First night done. And that was surreal. Not positively surreal.
And you'll get to see
We then enter the first post-night minigame. We play as Ashley and need to walk around asking these several NPCs questions to help us with our investigation. The first 2 people that we meet comment on the children going missing after leaving the house at night, and one of them even mentions the kids being at Lakes Funland that same day. Besides that small amount of knowledge though, these 2 people right here don't have any further leads on the case. As we move further along the path, meeting more NPCs, we eventually meet an old man named Darren. Ashley once again introduces herself and explains that she is doing an investigation on the case. Darren tells us that he used to be a detective at the police department in town and has actually been working on the case as well. He then invites Ashley to partner up with him on the case and gets her number so they can stay in contact. There's also a few different people we can talk to, with one of them even being named Mr. Cawthon. They don't give us much information about the case, and to keep this video concise, I don't want to go through every piece of dialogue, but yeah, these guys are here to talk to if you check out the game for yourself. After this, the minigame ends and night 2 begins. Just like night 1, we begin by hearing Ashley's thoughts on the current scenario before we receive a call from her mother.
Alright, second night, and now I am not so excited anymore. Alright, let's hope our shiny friend doesn't leave stage tonight. I wonder if Mom left a message. Oh, of course she did.
In this call, she congratulates us on our first night, and then tells us about a checking routine they did on the animatronics earlier in the morning. She tells us that they learned something during this routine that could be helpful for us. That being that Alex and John, the coyote and rabbit on stage 2, both have something wrong with their eyes. Meaning that if they come into our office, we need to turn off this light right in front of us to get them to go away. Another thing about stage 2 she tells us about during this night is the audio tape system. Starting from now on, we need to check on the stage 2 camera every now and then to make sure this audio tape is playing. If it glitches out or stops, we need to rewind it to the beginning before playing it again. This is all to keep Alice away, who will come and kill us if we don't keep this tape playing. After telling us this, Ashley's mom says goodbye, and we now need to survive the second night. During this night, we need to still survive against Hayden. Only now, we also need to worry about the tape keeping Alice away, as well as Alex, who will try to approach our office multiple times in this night. Because Alex is now approaching our office pretty frequently, we are also introduced to the exposure and panic meters. The exposure meter goes up pretty fast as soon as an animatronic steps foot in our office, and if we don't turn the light off before the bar fills up...
Yep, I remember it. I believe that was the reference from the FNAF 1.
Well, we die. The panic meter, on the other hand, goes up a lot slower.
Part of the game says, "It's me, Freddy," in that.
It can only be taken away by using one of our 3 pills we get every single night. The panic meter will also interrupt gameplay depending on how high the bar is, by doing things like making your cursor shake uncontrollably, and also having the player experience a lot of hallucinations. I actually really like the idea of having these small inconveniences to the player, as it allows for moments where you can try to fight through the shaky mouse in order to save a pill for later. It adds an original spin to the idea of having resource management in a FNAF game. This is probably one of the most unique mechanics in the whole game. While extremely tense, night 2 wasn't too hard. After finishing the night, we returned to the minigame section, this time following Ashley, who is at Darren's house. Darren welcomes Ashley into his house before excusing himself for a moment, telling us to make ourselves at home. It's here where we meet Elizabeth Hill, who looks oddly familiar to another character I know named Elizabeth. We also meet Jane, who is Darren's daughter. During this conversation, while discussing her past, we see a flashback.
Be right back for a moment.
Mainly recalling a friend she grew up with named Harlan, who was like a brother to her. Ashley reveals more about Harlan, saying, "It's often heartbreaking thinking of Harlan and his dad. You see, he had a sister, and she got kidnapped, never returned home. And then, a few months later, his mother died in a horrible car crash. Ashley saw Harlan as family and was extremely hurt over what happened to him. She got kidnapped, never returned home. And then, a few months later, his mother died in a horrible car crash. Ashley saw Harlan as family and was extremely hurt over what happened to him. After learning about this, the minigame ends, and we begin night 3.
Alright, Wednesday, surprise me. Sheesh, it's getting cold in here.
Night 3, like always, opens up with a call from Ashley's mom. She tells us that we have the place to ourselves all night, and tells us...
I don't know, I just need to look at something right quick, hold on. Okay, I had to look into the description. It says, I thought we were going to look at some games, but I was dearly wrong. We're only looking at one game we have Darkest, and it was this game, because I realized it was this game. The Together Again. I thought we were gonna react some other games, but I didn't think I'm gonna react to the one game on this. But then again, I already seen the other guy play this other game, and it was a full darkest and natural ending on it. So yeah.
Play on the arcade machines if we want. This is actually a hint towards the secret ending, which involves us playing different arcade mini games, but I'll talk about that more after the main ending. After this, we also get to hear a story of a previous security guard named Michael, who had an experience with Lake coming into his office. Apparently Lake doesn't like light, so we need to shine him if he ever approaches us, with the only catch being that he is very fast. After this, the call ends and night 3 officially starts. In this night, we now need to deal with Lake as mentioned in the phone call. Lake leaves the stage pretty early in the night and can be seen lurking in the shadows of specific cameras. Whenever we see him step into the main light of the camera, we need to flash him to make him run away, as letting him get too close to the office will get us killed. I'm actually a huge fan of how the animation was done here. It makes use of the low camera frame rate really well, and it also just makes Lake's character stand out a lot more amongst the other animatronics. Besides him though, no one new is added on night 3. I did actually end up dying on this night though, and I have to say the animations for the jump scares are really well done. And the characters also get their own voice lines after they kill you, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, that.
Ashley, when you try to help others, you must understand there will be consequences.
After we get through night 3, it's back to the mini games. This time we see Ashley and Darren finally discussing the case. Darren tells us that many more kids actually disappeared, but it was only a matter of days until they were found. Apparently the victims were found alive, but not in good condition. Darren says this was done by criminals who had been caught by the feds 2 years prior. He tries to tie this case together with the one that we are investigating, but there isn't really a solid correlation. After hearing out Darren's speculation, Ashley reminds Darren that the 3 children were rumored to go missing at Lake's Funland. This makes Darren recall the owner of Lake's Funland. He seems to not really like the guy, but chalks him up to just be a greedy man, and doesn't actually think he would be responsible for what happened. Ashley brings up one last clue, that being Loran Wilson, who was murdered in the back alley of Lake's Funland. We then actually cut to a flashback scene where we can see what looks to be Loran being chased by a shady figure, before eventually finding her deceased.
Oh yeah, cause that's what I needed to know, because I seen when the part, cause this is like the reference from the Finance of Freddy's 2 and 3. Like I know but I know the FNAF 3 part, the mini game part where you walk with an animatronic and you walk and you walk, follow to says follow me, and you follow it and you just stopped and you from this walking area you can't go anywhere, and this mysterious purple guy shows up and dismantled, destroying animatronics. And in FNAF 2 you can just said help them, and it was Freddy and his puppet trying to follow him, but it says the part, and you see this purple guy again, and it says you can't. So yeah.
In a nearby room. This kicks off night 4. As soon as night 4 begins, we can hear Ashley, who seems to be a lot more fed up with this job.
The more I concentrate myself, the faster I'll get through this bullshit. Let's hear what Mom has to say.
We then get another call from her mom. In this one, she says that she's been taking in the complaints from both Ashley and Michael, who have both been working there. And after watching over some recordings, has discovered something new. Chick the Bird, the red animatronic seen on stage, has been seen in some of the older recordings crawling around in the ventilation system. She warns us to use our speakers to lure her around if she's ever seen getting close to our office. We also learn that Chick the Bird can't see because of some incident where she was left outside of the location and was found in the back alleyway during a snowstorm. Before ending the call though, Ashley's the older recordings crawling around in the ventilation system. She warns us to use our speakers to lure her around if she's ever seen getting close to our office. We also learn that Chick the Bird can't see because of some incident where she was left outside of the location and was found in the back alleyway during a snowstorm. Before ending the call though, Ashley's mom gives her insight on the investigation she's doing. And for some reason seems like she wants Ashley to stop investigating altogether. Before that though, this video is sponsored by Red.
No. I don't need ads. I don't need sponsors or anything. So let's just skip that. Skip.
For school about the missing children and their possible connection to Lorraine's assassination. I mean, you're doing great. It's just that I don't think you'll get anywhere with it. Like, it's been about 4 years since that, and there's barely any information on the case. Whoever you ask will probably lead you to simple rumors. There's a bunch of them out there. I don't know. I'd suggest you find another case. There's plenty of interesting cases you can work on. What about the robberies at the Red Path Museum? That sounds interesting enough. I'm sure you'll get a high grade. Listen, I just think it may not be safe to do an investigation on such a serious case. At least if you're not a professional certified detective, but you do what you think is best. Alright, that's all I had to say. Take care and good night. That was weird. Why would she be so nervous? I mean, I know I'm not working on the least serious case, but that was interesting.
Okay, that was talking about something I don't really know, but I just need to play along because I had to turn it down because I didn't hear anything right.
Pretty weird phone call from Ashley.
Last time on my video, it gotten so loud because y'all won't be able to hear my voice because I've already put the title on the video says, sorry guys, my voice you won't be able to hear my voice. It was going to be super loud.
Mom, the night finally begins. During night 4, we are actually introduced to 2 threats instead of just one. Those being John Coon and Chick the Bird. Both of these animatronics approach through the ventilation system, although each of them works a little bit differently. John approaches our office much like Alex, meaning instead of having to lure him around, we can simply wait for him to poke his head in and then turn off our light, although this will cost us some of our sanity. Chick the Bird, on the other hand, will approach from the left side of the vents, and will kill us if she ever reaches our office. That means that for her, much like Hayden, we need to lure her back and forth using our audio lures to keep her from killing us. One mechanic that begins to get a lot more prevalent during this is the limited use of the speakers. Every time you use a speaker in a specific camera, that speaker loses a little bit of its life, meaning you will most likely have to switch up which cameras you are using the later into the nights you get. This makes managing all of the animatronics that need to be lured very stressful, especially when you are also dealing with flashing Lake on the cameras and turning off the light whenever Alex and John come in. This is where the game seriously starts to get challenging, although this is nothing compared to the nights that will come later on. After completing this night though, we go to the next minigame, which is a lot more disturbing than the other ones. This one opens with Ashley talking to Jane. Jane asks Ashley if she can tell her more about Harlan. Ashley says that she hasn't heard anything from him in over 4 years, and expresses her hopes that he is doing okay. We quickly find this out to not be the case, however, as the minigame then switches to Harlan's perspective. He says, I tried everything, and nothing seems to work out.
Yesterday. No, I think it's not yesterday. Days ago. I think it's like days ago. I seen this video on that other YouTube. So I remember this kid. Also, I don't know what the name is. Hold on, let me just go back a little bit.
We quickly find this out to not be the case, however, as the minigame then switches to Harlan's perspective.
Yeah, No, it's Heartland. Yep, it's correct. Heartland. Sorry about that. Now, I already seen the part of the video title, Friendship, and this kid, also known name as Heartland, was talking stories of that red animatronic, telling about his story, and something else dark happened to him. Because he went to his room and he kind of don't, and he don't like his father because he has a daughter because he thought it was gonna make everything happy, but he don't like it, so he just go into his room and just hung himself. Like I don't know literally why he do that because he apparently is not happy. He didn't feeling any happy. So I guess he just did it on his own because he don't feel this happy joy at his heart at all.
Everything, and nothing seems to
'Cause
work
he's
out
tired for
before
everything.
walking up to this rope and, well, committing self-deletion.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that sounded so stupid to read out, but because of YouTube, I can't say the real word, but I hope you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
After Harlan does this, a mysterious voice
He
starts
hung him.
talking to him. Harlan asks this voice who it is, to which it responds, "I am an obscure being that rises from the depths of darkness and disgrace. I feed on the needs and desires of the unfortunate and the malicious." Harlan asks the beast what it wants from him, but surprisingly, instead of wanting something, it is actually here to give him something. The entity talks about the deal he made with Harlan's grandpa years ago, and says that he is here to hold up his end of the deal. The entity tells Harlan he suffered enough in his life, and says it is time for him to compensate him. He says he will give Harlan the family he never had. He will give him a new life, make him strong, and make him loved, all if he takes his deal. In a moment of desperation, Harlan accepts the deal, and we see his sprite get more and more corrupted. After this,
Yeah.
Night 5 begins. In this call from
Night
Ashley's
5.
mom, we hear her apologize repeatedly to Ashley for all of the trouble this job has been causing, saying that we will be compensated for it. Instead of telling us about any new threats though, like usual, she just says goodbye and hangs up the phone. During this 5th night, no new animatronics are added, with this night instead serving as a perfect final test to the player to see if they have mastered all of the mechanics. This night actually has perfect gameplay in my opinion. Everything is just so well balanced. The resources you need to manage are limited enough that you will barely scrape by at the end of the night. The animatronics are just aggressive enough to keep you active the entire time, and all of the things you need to do on the cameras makes everything extremely tense. There is not a single dull moment in this night. This is seriously FNAF gameplay done perfectly. Surprisingly enough, this actually isn't the final night though, despite Ashley having this to say after the night is over.
Alright, I'm fucking out of here. Huh? Mom hasn't arrived yet?
After this, we go to another 8-bit cutscene. This one once again showing us Oscar. Desperate to keep his family safe and stay away from the police, Oscar once again asks the entity to show himself. After doing this, the entity then tells Oscar he can help him, only if Oscar does something in exchange. And his reason for his request is very unexpected. The entity says, "You see, I've spent a couple of years inside your little toy, observing how you and your servants run that mess of a restaurant, and I've learned quite a few things about entrepreneurship. Let's just say I'm starting my own project, but I can't do it all on my own. I need some assistance, so I require the souls, the blood, and the lives of 5 children." Oscar immediately...
Like, I don't know what that thing our identity chose to just get 5 children and their souls.
seems angry by this request, responding with, "You
We
got to
don't
be
want
fucking
that.
kidding me. You really want me to kill now?" But the entity doesn't seem to budge, continuing to try and convince Oscar to do the act. Crumbling under the pressure of losing everything, Oscar says, "Count on me," before the cutscene switches to show us what
yeah,
looks
I
to be
already
another
seen this.
victim being killed outside of the restaurant.
And she just watched too.
It's time
I already seen this, and I already seen that part when this mysterious man was killing a girl in the middle of the snow outside, and this red animatronic just watched.
for night 6. the final night. In this night, we do actually get a phone call, but surprisingly, it's not from Ashley's mom. Instead, we hear a man on the phone who introduces himself as Mike Schmidt, who is the daytime security guard we had heard about in the previous phone calls. Mike, or Michael, is calling to warn us about the fact that he hasn't heard from Ashley's mom. This is a very odd character for her, which seems to worry Ashley a lot. Just like night 5, we need to survive against all 6 animatronics, only this time they are even more aggressive. So much in fact that you have to perfectly be using all of your resources. Because of how often the animatronics will come into your room, you will most likely run out of anxiety pills before the night is over, which leads to some super stressful moments of trying to survive the last couple hours of the night, all with a shaky mouse which makes it hard to click on cameras and limited visibility. The limited speaker uses per camera also becomes very important in this night since we need to lure the animatronics around so frequently. Also, if this night wasn't hard enough, one attempt when I was very close to beating the night, this game's equivalent to Golden Freddy spawned in my office and ended my attempt.
That girl though, this girl, it looks similar to spawn in the game reference from Golden Freddy from the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 part. Wait, the way of this scene, you can hear a bunch of noise. Yeah, it's kind of creepy because it's a similar one to the Golden Freddy. Like, it was a pretty good.
But luckily, after finishing it, we get to see the very first ending of this game. If we didn't do any of the extra arcade minigame stuff that I mentioned earlier, then the game begins like a typical FNAF game, showing us our paycheck and letting us know we got the neutral ending. We also get a little message mocking us, which reads, "Thanks for nothing." On the main menu, we get our first badge for beating the game, and also while clicking on the night select screen, we can see that there is one more night, titled Finale, which we are
Hold on for a minute.
able to access. To get the good ending, we actually need to return to nights 3, 4, and 5, and play a secret arcade game in each one of them. In night 3, we need to go to Cam 7 and click on this arcade machine right here. This takes us to It's Raining Carrots, a simple game where we need to catch the carrots and avoid the bad fruits. The secret in this arcade game comes after playing it over a few times. You'll see a crying face fall from the sky, and catching it in our basket brings us to a FNAF 3 style minigame where we are playing as Ashley. Moving through the repetitive green rooms, we come across a purple shadow animatronic who resembles the secret animatronic that attacked me on night 6. Moving further along, we find a crying child in the corner. Ashley tries confronting the child by saying, "You must not cry anymore, my child. You don't have to be alone anymore. Now take my hand and come along with me," before the minigame ends. In night 4, if we click on the Paper Pal Coyote on Cam 9, it starts up Graham's West Rage. In this one, we need to shoot the bad guys while avoiding the good ones. And just like the last one, we need to play until a crying child appears. This time, the child appears in the form of a target, and after shooting that target, we enter yet again another FNAF 3 style minigame. The mysterious purple animatronic still watches us, as we once again move through the rooms and find the next crying child. Ashley once again confronts the child and tells them the exact same thing, asking them to take her hand and come along with her, before the minigame ends. For the third and final minigame, we need to go to Cam 8 on night 5 and click on the Ashley plushie that's on this table. This brings us to Memorizing with Alice, the final arcade game that we need to play. In this arcade game, we just need to match all of the pictures on the left side of the screen 3 different times before the 2-minute timer runs out. After replaying the minigame like 3 times, eventually when flipping over a card, it will be a picture of another child. This takes us to the last secret minigame section, which is pretty similar to the other 2. Eerie music plays as we once again roam around searching for the next crying child. Just like the other 2 minigames, the shadow animatronic is still watching us. And after finding the child, Ashley tells them the same thing for one last time before the minigame ends. Now with all of these 3 secret minigames complete, we now need to once again beat night 6, which was pretty brutal. After completing the night for a second time though, instead of seeing the night complete screen, Chick the Bird instead appears in our office before the screen cuts to black. This caught me so off guard at first because when this happened, I thought I actually died seconds before beating the night. Instead though, we get taken to a brand new cutscene. In this one, we see Ashley wake up in a dark void. No, I can't be dead. She didn't even attack me, Ashley says to herself before another voice, Loran, says, and I don't want to do it anymore. Before revealing herself to Ashley, only she is wearing a Chick the Bird mask. I'm not going to chase you down, Ashley. Not anymore. I listened to you. Now I want you to listen to me. She then removes her mask and Ashley recognizes who she is, saying, you, that face, I've seen you before. I know you. You're Loran Wilson, the girl killed in the back alley. What are you doing here? Where are we? Loran tries to calm Ashley, telling her that they are just in a trance, before explaining where all of the victims went. They're here, Ashley. They've been here the whole time. Martin, Joshua, Wendy, the answer to your case is right here. We then hear a revelation from Loran that changes everything as we knew it. Perhaps some things are best left forgotten, for an instance, or maybe forever, but you wanted the truth. And I'm sorry it had to end like this. The person who brought us here, the person who took our lives, was your mother, Ashley. Shocked by this revelation, Ashley continues denying the truth, saying, my mother is not a murderer. She is not a murderer.
What I was saying, but I thought for a moment it was, yesterday I thought it was Oscar, but turns out that was her mother herself. She killed those kids. Because Ashley didn't notice, because she didn't notice, because she think it was her mom. Because she don't believe it.
Loran continues to try and explain the situation to Ashley, and actually seems somewhat sympathetic towards her mother. I know that Rachel didn't mean any of this. I learned now that she lived regretting what she did, and all she's wanted to ever do is to set us free and find a way out for us. The cutscene ends with Loran telling Ashley that her mother still loves her. She was protecting you. She protected you from the man who forced her to do this. We all need to come back one more time and put an end to all of this. It's what your mother wanted. It's time for all of us to set ourselves free from our petty strings, because we will never find rest as long as we're attached to them. The cutscene then ends and we load into night 7.
No. It was Mom? My mom in all these years, and it was her?
And she finally realized it was her. She's trying to hide her.
Night 7 is somehow even harder than Night 6, and even more stressful. After beating it though, we finally get to see the last cutscene of the game.
Alright boys, you're all going back home. Good riddance.
After hearing what...
I need to take a hear this. I need to hear this. I didn't hear anything. Let me just hear this sound.
Alright, boys. You're all going back home. Good riddance.
After hearing what sounds like Ashley blowing up the entire building and setting it on fire, we once again see her talking to Loran.
So she blew up the
After
place.
hearing what sounds like Ashley blowing up the entire building and setting it on fire, we once again see her talking to Loran. She tells Ashley that it's all over now and that she can rest. But before that, her and the rest of the victims wanted to say thank you. One at a time, we see each victim forgive Ashley's mother before they disappear into the darkness. The camera then pans down to reveal one last spirit, Harlan, who is seen to be still crying on the floor. Harlan seems upset that Ashley burned down the pizzeria, saying, "We could have been safe here, Ashley, don't you see? We could have been a family again. I just wanted things to be the way they used to be again. I wanted you to be one of us, don't you get it? No pain, no worries, nothing bad happens here. The idea of a victim in a FNAF game being happy that they became an animatronic is something I don't think has ever been done yet, but is very dark, especially in the context of this game. Ashley tries to convince Harlan that this is not the way, saying, "Harlan, I'm sorry, but this isn't the way it should be. You are not under control, Harlan. You have to fight whatever it is. You forgot. You still have a family waiting for you on the other side. Your mom, your sister, your true family." This makes Harlan sit up, reminiscing on his family, before he decides that Ashley is right. After talking a little bit more, Harlan and Ashley say their final goodbye to each other before the game ends. There are also a few more things to look into if you want to dive deeper into the lore. For example, there are a ton of audio logs that you can unlock, both by beating the knights and finding them on the cameras. And there is also a hidden cutscene where we play as Ashley as we walk through what seems to be all of the key moments in her mother's life. Even seeing the moment the murder...
I didn't even know for a moment yesterday, I didn't even know that was her. She killing 5 children. Like, I thought it was Oscar, but turns out it was Ashley's mom. And she have a daughter, and she trying to hide it, and she don't want her to notice. Well, until this ghost child told her everything, that she's a killer, she decided to leave and burnt the place down and let the souls free.
As well as how Rachel handled that after it had been committed. Anyways, that was Together Again, a Lakes Funland story. Seriously, an insanely impressive FNAF fan game. Not only was everything extremely polished, but you can just tell that every aspect of this game had a lot of effort put into it. Whether that's the story, which does some really unique things, the gameplay that was almost perfectly balanced, or the graphics, which are very impressive for a fan game and do a great job of building up the game's world. Every single aspect of this game just screams passion and hard work. Let me know what you guys thought about the game though. Also, I'd like to give one last thank you to Red Magic for
Alright, so
sponsoring today's video. With that being said though, I hope you guys all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace.
But what about the other DLC ending? I have a Christmas. She didn't make a story of that other game. But I guess that's it, you guys. So yeah, and I've been recording for 43 minutes. So hope you all enjoy this video. Make sure you click the like and subscribe button and click that notification bell. But that ending, like, I thought for a moment it was going to be Oscar, but till it's dark entity. But turns out it was his mom. Because then again, I didn't even notice because, yeah. But hold on, let me show you what that guy I've been telling y'all about. This is the guy right here. Not this one. Says, hold on. Okay, so this is the man right here, named by Curtin. He also played this, right? No, where is it? So he also played this game. Well, where is it? Now, I want you all to go watch this video. He also played this game and learn about the game and all that stuff. So subscribe to him. So subscribe to his channel. So, alright, hope you all enjoy this video. Make sure you click the like and subscribe button and click that notification bell. It's a Shadow Ninja 0. I'll talk to you all later. Peace. Man. I wonder the game creator gonna make Together Again too. It will be way too awesome. That will be awesome.